Everyone. So before you start thinking about how to draft a cut together dress, there are some basic measurements you are expected to know about. So first of all, you need to take bust measurements. This is the first measurement. That's the first one. Then secondly, you should know about the shoulder line. This shoulder line is like an extension. Look at the t-shirt I'm wearing for an example. So we are going to assuming this armhole was not added. So you're taking the measurement for where you actually want this the sleeve to stop too, because it's cut together with the shoulder line to where it actually is going to stop here, because here it is connected directly to the bust. So all this is connected directly to the bust area, then to the full length. So the shoulder line must have an extension. And not only that, you need to understand that the dress is either is this dress must have a full length. That means where it's going to stop. So these are the three basic measurements that is necessary to start drafting cut together dress. So let's go to the cutting table and get started. The two illustrations I'm using for this. So this is the back line, while this one is actually the front line. So for the back line, there is a zip allowance at the back of it. That actually means that the dress has a zip. While for the front line, it doesn't have a zip. So let me start explaining the lines you are seeing right here. The first line is the shoulder line, inclusive with the extension. The second line is the chest line. That's where the armhole actually stops. This other line is the bust line, and while this other line waistline, and this is the full length. So let's get started. Now that I'm done drafting it, I've taken the shoulder measurements with the shoulder extension. I've connected it successfully to the chest line, which happens to be the end of the armhole. So now I'm taking from the bust line, I'm taking my bust measurement. So let me say I'm using 3. So so if you are using it for yourself, you take your bust measurement divide by 4. So I'm using 3 inches. Normally you're supposed to add like 2 inches, but know that we are working with space, so I'm just adding like 1.5 inch to it for sewing allowance. And for the bust line, the waistline, sorry, we are using 2.5. Then I'm adding 1.5 inches to it, so I'm using like 3.5. So I'm going to connect it with my free hand from here. Now I'm connecting it with my free hand. Then once I reach to the end point, I'm going to use my ruler. Anyway, if you have your cuff, why not? You can actually use your cuff to curve it out there. It depends on how you actually want it to be. So, okay. So now I'm done with the first line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it out. Then I'm going to trace it back in the box. So look at how your pattern should actually look like. Are you seeing it? This is how your pattern should actually look like. So now I'm going to be tracing it back on the back line too. So this side is actually the zip allowance. So I'm going to cut it out. Then what I'm going to show you is how to cut the U neckline, which I'm doing after I'm finally dropped and cut it out. I have already cut it out. So now the back side is actually going to be in two, so that the zip can actually sit well. So what I'm going to do right now, I've already cut out the new neckline. So what I'm using, depending on the inches you are using, you can use for the length, you can use 3 or 4, and for the width, that is for the downside, you can also use like 3 inches too is okay. So it's depending on you if it's a, but this is how to draft out the U neckline. It's very easy. So you just cut it out. Yeah, so you can see. So for the back side should not be as deep as the front line. The back side should be a little up, because that is how the appropriate measurement is being taken. So don't cut it out like the how the front side is actually look like. So don't make it so deep like the front line. And just like so if you want to make that design you see there, once you are sewing it, you can give it a small fold at the sleeve line, just as you can see me doing it right now. So it's very easy to make. Thank you for watching. Bye. Until I see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.